This is Tech Tuesday, where we shine the spotlight on a trending theme in the world of technology and gain a better understanding of where trends are leading in the world of tech investment. This is Tech Tuesday, presented by the Canadian Securities Exchange. Thank you to everyone for joining us online, live today for this week's edition of Tech Tuesday. Today's private company showcase is sponsored by Valhalla Angels, presented by the CSE, the exchange for entrepreneurs and the world's fastest growing small cap stock exchange for the last 15 years. We are pleased to have two companies, RainStick, founder and CEO Alisha McFetridge, also known as McFet, TechBrew Robotics, founder and CEO Mike Boudreau. I'm this week's host, and our guest moderator is, of course, Mark Francis. This represents today's lineup. But before I get into the housekeeping, I'd like to introduce Mark Mitchell, co-president of Valhalla Angels Alberta. Mark is an international finance and technology professional with experience across 5 countries and 3 continents, including 4 years in China. Mark currently serves as the Alberta co-president for Valhalla Angels, where he worked on all aspects of Valhalla's investment activities, including deal sourcing, fundraising, and investment execution. Mark is fluent in Mandarin, and he holds 2 master's degrees. Without further ado, Mark.
Hey, Barrington. Thanks for having me here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and about Valhalla.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you gave me a pretty good intro there already, so I won't go into too much more detail. So like you mentioned, I am the co-president for Valhalla Angels Alberta. So Valhalla is, we've been around for over a decade. We've invested in over 300 companies, and we've invested around $71 million into those companies. So there's been a pretty substantial amount of capital that our member investors have put into Western Canadian technology businesses, and we're continuing to invest in companies. And it's a really fantastic place to be if you're interested in the early stage asset class. Currently, we have around 100 members across Western Canada, so British Columbia, Alberta, and Saskatchewan mainly. But we're definitely trying to expand our reach and become, ideally Canada's premier investment platform for early stage companies. And then obviously early stage investors that are interested in investing in those companies. So in addition to, being the co-president for Valhalla Angels Alberta, I'm also the general partner for Weave Capital, and we're actually launching a new $10 million venture fund to further support seed stage businesses in Western Canada. So Valhalla and Weave, we work together to invest in companies at the pre-seed and then seed stage levels.
Thank you, Mark. And if people wanted to get more information, what's your website?
So you can go to, search Valhalla Private Capital on Google. You can pull up our webpage. If entrepreneurs are interested in, participating in one of our monthly forums. So every single month, about 5 companies present to our member investors. And then, pending interest will go into a, couple week DD process before receiving investment from our community. So if you're interested in applying for an upcoming forum, feel free to go to our website, fill out the application form, and, a member of our team will be in touch with you shortly.
Thank you so much, Mark. And we will continue now on with Tech Tuesday. Our objective in running Tech Tuesday is twofold. First, it's for companies to gain visibility and traction on an accessible platform. The second is to inform capital markets players and investors about these types of companies in the tech space, while also providing new knowledge of what is happening, especially at Valhalla. For you, the attendees, we do ask that you share your ideas, leads, possible funding, and feedback with our presenters. You may even have a strategic business relationship that you may want to introduce them to. You can find their contact information on the profile box, which is just to the left, or below in the show notes. With respect, we might refrain from giving management advice unless we are truly experts in the company's particular field, and please do not treat our presenting companies as marketing targets for our services. If the images aren't clear or the pictures are incomplete, check your bandwidth, refresh your screen, call your IT, or try a different platform, as we are broadcasting on YouTube, LinkedIn, and AirMeet. This presentation is for information purposes only and is not a solicitation to make an investment in either shares or debt or to buy and sell stock. We make no representations about any of these companies. If you are interested in the investor pitch, please connect with the companies directly in order to get detailed information, or you can visit the Valhalla Angels website. Each company will have approximately 5 to 7 minutes to present. Afterwards, we will have a Q&A. Now, as mentioned earlier, we have RainStick and TechBrew Robotics, and I would like to introduce Alisha McFetridge, the founder and CEO of RainStick, with Sean. Thank you for that. Alisha is the co-founder and CEO of RainStick, a clean technology company committed to building water products that drive the future of water conservation in the home and allow people to thrive with only 50 liters of water per day. She holds a Master of Science in Climate Change and Development and a Bachelor of International Business majoring in sustainability. Alisha has worked with high-growth technology companies including Disney's Club Penguin and Banana Tag, and has spent time working in Kenya, China, the Netherlands, the United States, and Canada, where she currently resides today. Over the past 2 years, she's built RainStick Shower, North America's first circular shower that won Best Innovation at CES 2022 out of 1,800 companies, and has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, and the Toronto Sun. And let's get to the presentation.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. I'm joined by Sean. He's my co-founder at RainStick. Together, we have developed RainStick, and we're driving the future of water tech in the home. It's our vision to allow people to live and thrive with only 50 liters of water per person per day. We're doing this because less than 1% of the world's population has accessible fresh water. The population is anticipated to double over the next 80 years. North Americans use way too much water, 350 liters of water per person per day, and 50% of that water is in the bathroom. So that's why we're starting with the shower. If we talk about showering today, the only innovation has simply been restricting the flow. 1980, it used to be 3 gallons per minute flow rate. Today, we have hit a wall. We cannot go any lower without forcing people to compromise. We go into bathroom showrooms. The consultants tell us the number one concern for folks is they want more pressure, more flow. But with these challenges in our world, including climate change, the population growth, we need to cut it back because we just don't have enough supply. So all of this to say, this is why we've developed North America's first circular shower, which is the only solution that's available to push beyond low flow regulation while enjoying a great shower. So instead of using 3 gallons per minute, way too much, instead of using 1.8 gallons per minute, we actually only use half a gallon. And the reason why we're able to increase the flow rate to 3 gallons per minute, so we're taking people back to 1980 shower flow rate, is because of point of use recirculation and real-time cleaning. So very simply how it works is we take fresh grid supplied water every single shower. So RainStick is not a gray water system. And instead of going down the drain, we capture, we circulate, and we clean the water all in real time to avoid waste. RainStick is intended for straightforward installations for new builds as well as bathroom renovations. And as a result of installing RainStick, a user in Canada, these are Canadian numbers, saves on average $500 to $700 per year on an annual recurring basis. So RainStick is an investment that pays off in under 7 years in Canada and places like California, that's under 3 years. And as a result, RainStick saves over 11,000 gallons of water every single year that RainStick's installed. So we have we have formal IP that's been filed as well as proprietary features, including encrypted firmware. We also have an app that allows users or utilities to track aggregated data and savings over time. All of the data is GDPR compliant and it's aggregated. And it allows someone to even start the shower remotely if they're laying in bed, for example. The residential bath industry is massive. In North America, it's a $100 billion industry, and that's according to the National Kitchen and Bath Association. RainStick is intended for any certified pro, and currently bathroom professional installations for new build and renovations make up 87% of the market. And we're initially targeting mid to high rise spend, which makes up 75% of the spend. We make money through system sales. So initially our cost of product is $3,495. We make money through recurring revenues of our RainStick original cleaning product, as well as accessories. So we have an optional handheld. In the future, we'll be licensing our loop technology for future aesthetics, for different product verticals, including marine, including RVs. And then following, we're coming up with future water tech products for the home. We're reaching our market simply. We've built up a lot of demand as a result of CES and other publications for RainStick. We're just focused on North America this next year. Our fiscal year, by the way, is June to May 31st. So this is actually starting this June, or it's our 2023 year. And we're focused on reaching folks B2B, so through professional market, as well as direct to pro and direct to end user. In futures, we're seeing licensing our loop. We're seeing looking at not just single multifamily, but also commercial applications as well. We're going to start here, refine our business model in North America before we go global. We have a great team. Myself, you've learned about me. Sean beside me, he's here for Q&A, but he's here as well. He's the energy engineer. He's the lead inventor of RainStick Shower. He's spent over 10 years working for Fortune 500 companies, helping them with their energy and water conservation. And he also has a business background. We have been extremely busy. Last year, we ended up oversubscribing our pre-seed round. That led us to product refinement for our technology. We've now completed over 100 tests. We filed patents to cut competitors off at the pass. We've collected sales deposits and LOIs, over 600,000. We have over $1 million in our pipeline with lead developers, as well as RainStick will be featured on publications like Property Brothers in the future, which we're very excited about. And we just finalized our contract manufacturing relationship. We won CES out of 1,800 companies. We were in the interior design show where, again, we got first place. It's huge affirmation for our sector, Bathroom Pros. And then we got kitchen and bath show. We ended up, again, coming first for Impact Awards. So it's been a busy year for us. And that leads us to where we are today. We are raising our seed round, 3 million Canadian, up to 3 million equity. And that is going to support the next 24 months in market. We already have now soft circled about a half of that. So it's even more than 500,000 as of this week, which we're very pleased about. We only have a few more spots available for interested investors. We see our future. We have a very active M&A space in the water sector. We're building enterprise value right now. We're fulfilling market demand. And over the next 3 to 5 years, we will seriously consider when that exit makes sense for RainStick. So if you have any questions for us, please feel free to reach out. Again, if you're interested in this investment, please let us know right away.
The only thing I would add, you guys, is that we are an EBC eligible business. So if you are a BC-based investor, there is a 30% tax advantage to making an investment with RainStick.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you for that. And as the father of 2 teenage kids, all I was thinking is, yes, this is something that we definitely need.
Guilt-free. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't need to downgrade your boiler.
Thank you so much. We'll see you back at the Inquisition. Our next presenter, Mike Boudreau, founder of Technology Brewing, also known as TechBrew. In 1999, Mike was looking for new machine vision applications and realized that few robots were employed in Western Canada, where high mix, low volume, highly customized manufacturing prevails outside of the primary industries. There was no return on investment for robotic systems due to fixturing costs, so the solution was to eliminate the fixture using vision guidance, allowing robots to adapt to varying products in varying positions. Since TechBrew has developed and delivered a variety of industrial vision-guided robotic systems to material handling, rail logistics, precast manufacturing, wood composites, agricultural, and food processing industries from its 5-acre high-tech zoned campus in Salmon Arm, BC. Mike is a past member of Valhalla Angel Network and co-founder of the Okanagan Network in 2003. Now, without further ado, Mike.
Thanks, Barrington. We're raising a $4.5 million round on a $12.5 million pre-money valuation. Got 3 of the 4.5 closed, and we're aiming to return 20 times in about 5 years to our investors. 10 million metric tons of mushrooms are handpicked every year, and labor pain is crippling the industry. So then we have a video showing the phase 2 robot picking mushrooms on farm. When I learned about this problem, we were actually out looking for tomato on the vine opportunities, customers interested in picking and placing tomato on the vine. The guy had bird dogging, went into a mushroom farm, said, you don't do tomatoes, but you need robots. And they said, yes, we've been looking for 30 years. Our market is growing by 10% a year, and our top three problems are labor, labor, and labor. So the current slide up, we've been doing this for close to 40 years, providing industrial automation solutions, and have worked for a number of companies across the spectrum from Fortune 500 down to ma and pa. So mushroom producers can sell basically everything they can produce. Their market's growing about 10% a year, and it doesn't matter where in the world they're operating, labor is a problem. Two largest Canadian producers are feeling the pain, and as I stated earlier, the CEO of Highline said his top three problems are labor, labor, and labor. So you can see why people don't like to work in this environment. It's smelly, it's cold, it's humid, it's poor ergonomics. The mushrooms grow around the clock. They double in size every 24 hours, and that means ideally you're picking them around the clock, and people don't want to work graveyard or shift work. So we broke this problem down into the two highest risk issues, which were finding the right mushroom to pick and picking it without damaging it. And we demonstrated that in our facilities here and then on farm August 2020 with this prototype that would run along the 30 meters of rack, pick on any of the 6 shelves, and basically reach just over halfway across the bed. We demonstrated that we could find and pick mushrooms without damaging them. And we know that if you pick around the clock with a robot or humans, you can get 10 to 20% more mushroom mass off of the same bed. Using artificial intelligence, we can extend that yield improvement even further. So our business model is 2-year ROI for the customer. That's about $250,000 a robot. Typical farm would be upwards of around $10 million worth of robots. We figure by year 3, we could be hitting 40 million in revenue, year 5, 100 million with a 50% gross margin and recurring revenues. Market potential worldwide is about $10 billion. This will be a consolidating and modernizing force for the industry. North America, about $1 billion, North America and Europe, about $1 billion, and North America alone, about 200 million at this point in time. Some of the early adopters that we've been talking to about potentially using this technology are Highline and South Mill Champs in Canada, Bonken in the Netherlands, and Northway in Ireland, and a few folks like Cheese and Hughes in the UK. We do have competitors. Some of them have been at it for quite a while. Everybody tells us that's been paying attention to this in the industry, we're 2 years ahead of the nearest closest competition. And as far as we can tell, we're the only company with a complete solution, basically ready for market. Our performance also dwarfs the competition, that we can pick 20 mushrooms a minute. The closest competitor apparently can pick 6. We do have IP filed both on the gantry scare arm style robot and primarily the end effector. All the prior art suggests that picking mushrooms with a suction cup damages them. We confirmed that for the suction cups available on the market. We developed our own that allows us to pick the mushrooms quickly without damaging them. Started in 2019, got a series of grants to help us do proof of concept work, raised around February, closed February last year. Signed a pilot agreement with 3 large producers and got another series of grants. We're currently closing a $4.5 million round, and we plan to have 50 robots on farm by the end of the year. And with those robots, start developing our artificial intelligence to get more yield out of the beds. Hockey stick looks something like that, with revenue, recurring software revenue based on artificial intelligence, and the recurring service revenue. Basic breakdown of the COGS, SG&A, and EBITDA. Team that's going to do this is very talented, long in the tooth, and multinational. Giuliano Camargo is our engineering manager, most recently from Samsung Brazil, worked for Caterpillar, Motorola, and Whirlpool. Duet Andreas from the automotive sector, producing high volume, high quality parts for that sector. Abdullah in the IT came from the likes of Hilti, a Swiss headquartered company, and Arthur and Jeremy bringing both international and domestic experience to the table. Board of directors, similarly very experienced. Mel O'Rourke is the director of Sylvan Europe. Sylvan is the biggest producer of mushroom spawn in the world. He knows all the customers and how much they're growing. Sean O'Connor is the director for Emertech, our lead investor in this round. Sheldon Gardner is a serial entrepreneur himself and a mentor in the Okanagan, Accelerate Okanagan. And Keith Spencer is a very long-in-the-tooth investor and lawyer in the startup tech space in the Vancouver area. So we are also EBC eligible if you're a BC investor. We've got a lot of non-dilutive funding coming in the pipe, and we've actually, this slide's a bit out of date, we've closed $3 million out of the 4.5, so that leaves 1.5 available on the table if you're interested. This is a video actually of the prepared by the BC government. We're strong advocates for a greener future. We have 4 seasons in British Columbia, so growing foods that we enjoy year-round. It means using technologies for indoor growing and harvesting. That's what the future of agritech looks like. My name is Mike Boudreau. I'm the president and CEO of TechBrew Robotics here in Salmon Arm, British Columbia. Mushrooms are very delicate and they look very much the same. So from a machine vision robot perspective, it's a fairly challenging problem. So our agritech solution for automatically harvesting mushrooms uses machine vision to identify the mushrooms and then a very specialized end effector on a robot to go and pick them, trim them, and then place them into packaging and into the cold storage ready for market. So mushroom producers around the world right now are starved for labor with a market growing at 10% per year annually. So we're helping alleviate that labor pain for the industry and allowing them to grow with their market more confidently. We need to innovate for agriculture for a number of reasons. The agricultural jobs are less desirable, so there's a natural strain on the labor supply for agriculture. And then with climate change, a shift to indoor agriculture is basically a must because we're not going to get the growth and yields growing produce out of doors. So the opportunity, I mean, it's virtually untapped. Watch a robot work and it's mesmerizing. So to know that you had a hand in creating that and you're solving a real world problem for somebody with a real need. And create opportunities for people in British Columbia to play in those fields. It's win-win-win. Thank you for your time.
And thank you, Mike. We really appreciate you taking the time and for showing us. But like you said, it is time for the Inquisition. So I'm going to bring up Alisha and Sean and Mark Francis. And of course, Mike is going to be here, and this is where I parachute out. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you, Barrington. And I'm actually a member of Valhalla Angels, so I saw each of you produce about a year ago for each of you. So good to see each of you again. Questions, and I'm going to have to boil it down. But the first one I do like to ask, to have you tell us about a mistake you made and what you did to correct it. So let's go with Mike and then Alisha.
Oh, mistakes are plentiful, but I think the biggest one was hiring a family member. And just the weird dynamics that created. And anyway, he no longer works with us. So that's the correction.
Hi, guys. So I can take that one to use a cliche. Mistakes are certainly going to happen. It's how we deal with them that is important. We, on a product development perspective, got down the road of looking at a pump that was going to be too expensive and not work. And it really required us to look over the fence at what other industries are doing. In our particular case, we found this same part that was used in the automotive industry, used prevalently in cars, and it took our costs down by 80% on that particular part. So little instances like that come up, and you just deal with them quick.
Okay, good. The next question I have is more one of clarification. I don't think either of you are quite yet in revenue. What is the trigger for you being in revenue? And I suspect in your case, Mike, it's having the capital to build the robots, Alisha and Sean, but I should let all of you answer the question. So Alisha and then Mike.
So right now we are going through a raise, and that will allow us the capital that we need in order to get the units into market for demonstration purposes. So it's very much contingent on this raise that we're going through right now.
Yeah, ours is we've actually built 4 pilot robots that we've been running 24/7 for the last year and a half in our facilities to get the features and up there and the bugs out. And we're taking those on farm for the 3rd time and hopefully the final time beginning of June. And as long as those are meeting the pilot agreement milestones, which before they leave here, they will be, that will trigger a purchasing cycle with our pilot customers. And the cash flow from that should handle or look after the production. So the next round after this one is simply to help us get there. The next round will be how aggressively do we want to ramp, because we don't want to leave unmet demand in the market. So.
Right. Now I have a question, Mike, in terms of the cost. It's I know that these are large corporate farm operations, but it's still fairly costly. They have to buy a number of them. What's the purchasing pattern going to look like from these large buyers? Are they going to buy 10 robots all at once, or are they going to buy a few and integrate them? What do you see happening here?
To be determined, but we expect them to build out a farm at a time. So that's on the order of 50 robots, 30 to 50 robots. And once the robots are proven to be reliable and performing, we have a group of investors ready to back robot as a service model. So we can offer both the capital approach, which basically allows the customer to realize all the return on investment, or we can offer robot as a service where we realize the return on investment and they basically replace human harvesters with robotic harvesters. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. Okay, good. Alisha and Sean, your product costs around $4,000 US, just a little under. Is it $3,500 US? $3,495. But that's the price tag. How much will it cost on an installed basis, especially with skilled labor costing more and more?
Yeah, totally. So RainStick is intended for both new builds as well as bathroom renovations. And we work closely with any certified bathroom pro. The installation of RainStick is very similar to a traditional shower installation to date. The only difference between RainStick's installation and a regular shower hardware installation is an electrical requirement. So as long as you have power up to the back of the appliance, that's the only difference. So it's a matter of a couple $100, but there's no significant installation change or difference.
Very good. Now, in terms of expanding market, you are talking about a new product for toilets as well. But at what point are you going to introduce this, and will it wait until such time as you are cash flow positive from your first product?
Yeah, totally. I think it's our vision at RainStick to be a water technology company. We're not starting with, we're starting with showering because that's where 50% of the water use happens in the home. We're also looking to say, how can we, come up with different aesthetic options with RainStick shower. We want to bring our costs down for RainStick shower technology, and that's through licensing our loop technology. We've received a whole bunch of interest from CES specifically for RV applications. So we're saying, let's start here. There's a lot of demand for this product before we go to future products. And so it's our intent over the next couple of years to really focus on the showering technology. But as mentioned, we're not just a shower company, we're a water technology company. And we're seeing that tap to toilet, or for that future water tech product, to come in over the next couple of years once we've established traction in the market with this first technology.
Okay. And TechBrew, Mike, you have the capability for doing other crops, but you've got a laser focus on mushrooms at the current time. Do you have any thoughts about going to other crops in the future? Which ones, and when might you do that?
Well, with a $10 billion market potential in front of us, we really want to pay attention to that. And as we've learned through the process of doing this, there's upstream and downstream automation opportunities that can really enhance the yield of the farms. So it'll take a lot to distract us, I think, from addressing those opportunities. Same customer and our revenue potential by addressing those needs. However, if we are to be dragged off, it'd probably be a product that's delicate in nature. I mean, we've managed to pick a mushroom which is super delicate, easy to bruise, and or hard to find. Our vision system is very good at discriminating between mushrooms and individual mushrooms and the mycelium on the compost behind it. So we're being asked to look at products in the cannabis processing industry and other food processing industries. So I know I'm kind of dancing around the subject, but it could be strawberries or tomatoes. The key thing with automation is you got to keep it busy. And so whatever we tackle probably is indoor growing. That's growing 365 days of the year, because to leave automation idle is, just goes against your return on investment. And as you can tell, it's not cheap. So
hence mushrooms, and you've got a huge market to target. So both of you can have competition. So first, Mike, and then Alisha, tell me about what particular aspects of your patents make it hard for a competitor to respond with a product that is similar.
Well, it comes down to the end effector. That's the part that actually picks the mushroom. And I told you in the presentation, it's in our case, it's a suction cup. We did evaluate soft fingers and a number of other end effector technologies, and circled back to coming up with a very specialized suction cup. Soft fingers, you can only move so fast, and if the mushrooms are crowded together, it's hard to get the fingers in without damaging either the mushroom you're picking or the adjacent one. So basically, if you want to go as fast as we can, you'll have to use suction cup technology, and from all of our work, you'll have to closely approximate what we've done, and our patents all over that. So hopefully that answered your question.
And I can take on that same question. So for us, it's very much a holistic look at formal IP, and we realize there's an importance for that, but also proprietary design features. And in a technology like ours, or a technology as familiar as showering to people, we knew that the creation of a recirculating shower or circular shower needed to be simple and intuitive. And I think that's something where we've really looked to focus our design intention. So we do have formal IP. We like to kind of say it's at the top and the bottom of our product. For us, we've been strategic about understanding if others were to enter the space, what would be design features that would be difficult for them to overcome should they want to get into the space. But we've also spent a considerable amount of time through research, understanding how to maintain hygiene in the system, how to automate the maintenance of the system. So it's really a holistic view, but I think one of our experiences is that we still have a tremendous push towards low flow showering as being the only solution that someone can save water in their homes. And we're saying, hey, we're an alternative technology to that. We need to exist. So there's lots of room for growth with getting that message across to the consumer.
Good. Now, another important aspect for IP, because there are companies that will deliberately violate your IP or work around the margins and perhaps not deliberately violate, but essentially infringe. Traction is vital. And so my question to each of you is, are you moving fast enough? Are you targeting the market fast enough to get to being cash flow positive and being able to defend your market position, both with profit and with market share?
I think definitely part of our IP strategy. We do meet with our lawyers quarterly and we go through what IP we currently have at RainStick, but part of our solution is getting to market as soon as we can, building that traction. And so, I second what you're saying there, Mark. But for us, we started out selling RainStick individually to homeowners, and that's how our pre-orders were derived. They were very successful. We went to trade shows, and all of a sudden these developers, builders, boutique hotels were reaching out to us. And we quickly realized that, and I would say this is one of our learnings even this year, is we can have a more succinct impact if we can sell 50 RainStick systems, 200 RainStick systems, 500 RainStick systems in one PO rather than one-off systems to end users. And so we're really focusing on this now. And I would say a very exciting space to us where we're receiving a lot of traction and we're getting into market for this type of area is modular builders. For us, high-end net zero homes, this is the future of construction. And this is an area that we're really moving forward quickly in.
Yeah, and from our side, pardon me, we have a sales funnel of 1,000 robots already. So our mission is to ramp up and deliver those as quickly as we can. And currently that's just work through some of the development pain. We don't have any technical uncertainty. It's a matter of features and undocumented features, otherwise known as bugs, that we need to work out and get the systems reliably operating on farm, and we're very close to accomplishing that. Next step is of course to ramp our production to make sure that we're leaving as little unmet demand in the market as we possibly can, and there's your traction, not just traction, but dominate the market, become the de facto standard. So
good. And my final question for each of you: what do you see as your biggest challenge going forward? Mike, and then Alisha and Sean.
24 hours. That's our daily budget. So, well, the world ain't what it used to be. So, what's next? We've worked through COVID. We've got the war going on in Europe. All of this is affecting supply chain. I think that's probably the biggest challenge is, our suppliers being able to keep up with what we need them to do. And so we need to work ahead of the curve, actually be anticipating supply issues and getting pre-orders in to secure our supply. For example, we've done that already. We're expecting to deliver first 50 robots within 6 months of the purchase order. We're seeing lead times out 52 months or 52 weeks, pardon me. So that's beyond our 6-month window. So we're already pre-ordering material for those builds, even though we don't have that purchase order yet, just to make sure the supply chain isn't our critical path issue.
I would say very similar to what Mike's saying, supply chain, having a physical product, working with suppliers. And I would add to that for us is ramping up our team. We're quickly realizing having the right amount of people. We now need to hire 7 or 8 people over the next couple of months, and making sure that those are the right people. Those are high quality. And so if anyone is looking for a position, we're definitely hiring quite a few positions right now, and making sure that we're bringing in good people. I think is one of the many, but one of the really important decisions and one of the important potential challenges that we're dealing with.
Very good. Well, thank you very much today, Alisha and Sean McFetridge, RainStick, and Mike Boudreau, TechBrew Robotics. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to echo Mark Francis's thank you, not only to the presenting companies, but also to Mark Mitchell, and of course the Valhalla Angels Network and Group. I'd also like to thank the people that work behind the scenes, James Black, Anil Mall, Melissa Robertson, and of course the founder and organizer of Tech Tuesday, Mr. Mark Francis. Thank you for guest moderating. Please make sure you go out and see these websites, see these companies, connect with Valhalla, see what else they have going on, and of course, tune in to Tech Tuesdays where you can learn about the latest innovations that are happening in the technology space. If you have questions, send them emails. You can also write the Canadian Securities Exchange, myself, Mark Francis, and the people I've mentioned earlier. Please join us next week for another private company showcase, and may you have continued success in your businesses. I've been your host, Barrington Miller, and this has been another edition of Tech Tuesday Private Company Showcase, featuring and sponsored by Valhalla Angels.